Welcome to Coins Hunter USA, the place where rare American coins turn into amazing discoveries. If you love learning about coins that hide big stories and even bigger value, you're in the right spot. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating pieces from the United States Mint, the state quarter. At first glance it may look like an ordinary coin you'd find in your pocket, but trust me, the details and hidden treasures behind this quarter will make you look at your change in a whole new way. So stay tuned, because you won't want to miss what makes this state quarter so special. Top 1 today, we've got a really exciting one, the Colorado State Quarter from 2006. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a regular quarter, right? Well, not exactly. Some of these coins have shocked collectors by selling for a jaw-dropping amount of money. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know why this little piece of change is so special. Let's start with a bit of background. The State Quarters program kicked off in 1999 and quickly became one of the most popular coin programs in U.S. history. Each state was given its own unique design, and in 2006, Colorado got its turn. The quarter they released that year highlights the Rocky Mountains in all their glory, snow-covered peaks, tall evergreens, and the simple but powerful motto, Colorful Colorado. On the front, you've got the familiar face of George Washington, just like every other quarter. But it's the little details and quirks that turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. Here's where it gets interesting. Not all Colorado quarters are created equal. The Mint produced millions, but mistakes happen during production. And when it comes to coins, those mistakes, known as mint errors, can make all the difference. Some Colorado quarters have been found with double dies, where certain parts of the design appear doubled. Others were struck off-center, giving the coin a strange, shifted look. And in rare cases, some were struck on the wrong type of blank altogether. Each of these errors turns a plain coin into something rare, unique, and extremely desirable to collectors. Condition also plays a huge role. Think about how most quarters look after years of use: scratches, dents, worn edges. But if you come across a Colorado quarter in pristine, uncirculated condition, the kind that still has its original shine and flawless detail, then you're looking at something truly special. Coins graded at the highest levels by professionals are the ones that end up fetching the biggest prices. Collectors love this coin not just for its design, but for the thrill of the hunt. Imagine checking your change at the grocery store and realizing that the quarter you almost spent is actually worth a fortune. That's the kind of discovery that keeps coin hunters searching day after day. So, what's the payoff? Well, here's the part you've been waiting for. The rarest Colorado state quarters, in top condition and with those valuable minting errors, have sold for as much as $72,000. Yes, you heard that right, $72,000 for a single quarter. So, the next time you spot a Colorado quarter from 2006, don't ignore it. Take a closer look. You never know, that simple coin in your hand could be worth more than a brand new car. Top 2, we're exploring one of the more fascinating and mysterious coins from the America the Beautiful series, the Effigy Mounds Quarter from 2017. At first glance, this coin might not look very different from any other quarter, but as you'll soon learn, some of these coins are worth a life-changing amount of money. Stick with me until the end, because the value of this quarter will absolutely amaze you. Let's begin with the background. The Effigy Mounds National Monument in Iowa is a site of incredible cultural and historical importance. More than 1,000 years ago, Native American communities built huge earthen mounds in the shapes of animals such as birds and bears. These sacred mounds served as burial sites and ceremonial places, and they remain one of the most powerful reminders of the creativity and beliefs of ancient peoples in North America. When the United States Mint introduced the Effigy Mounds Quarter in 2017, it was part of the America the Beautiful series, which honored national parks and monuments across the country. The design of this coin is both simple and striking. On the reverse side, you'll see the outline of several mounds as they appear from above, carefully shaped into animal forms. The words, Effigy Mounds, curve across the top, with the year and mint mark below. On the obverse side, like every quarter in the modern series, you'll find the portrait of George Washington, a design that has been a mainstay since the 1930s. But while the artwork may look familiar, what makes this coin stand out is not just its design, but its rarity, its condition, and the errors that make it truly valuable. Let's talk about those errors, because this is where things start to get exciting for collectors. Minting errors happen when something goes wrong in the production process. For the effigy mounds quarter, some of the rarest errors include double dies, where details of the design are duplicated or look blurry, giving the coin a dramatic and unusual appearance. Other quarters have been found with off-center strikes, where the image isn't perfectly aligned and looks shifted to one side. And there are even cases where coins were struck on the wrong type of blank, creating a one-of-a-kind mistake that collectors can't resist. These rare errors don't just make the coin unusual, they make it incredibly desirable and valuable. Condition is the other major factor. Most of the effigy mounds quarters you'll find in circulation have been used and abused, tossed into pockets, dropped into coin jars, run through cash registers. They'll have scratches, dings, and faded details. But a coin that was never spent, one that still shines like the day it was minted, is a whole different story. When these coins are sent to professional grading companies, those that score at the very top, perfect or near-perfect grades, are the ones that can command sky-high prices. Collectors will pay astonishing amounts of money for coins in pristine condition, especially when combined with a rare error. What makes the effigy mounds quarter even more interesting is its unique appeal to collectors. It's not just another state quarter. This one carries cultural weight. It tells the story of ancient traditions, of sacred mounds built by Native Americans, of history that goes back more than 1,000 years. Having one of these coins isn't just about owning money, it's about owning a piece of art and history. That's part of what makes coin collecting so exciting. Every coin has a story, and the effigy mounds quarter tells one of the most meaningful stories in the entire America the Beautiful series. Now imagine the thrill of discovering one of these quarters in your own change. Maybe you get one back at the grocery store or find it in an old coin jar. You take a closer look, and suddenly you realize you might be holding something rare. That's the joy of being a coin hunter. You never know when that ordinary-looking coin could turn out to be worth a small fortune. So let's get to the big question: how much can one of these quarters really be worth? While most effigy mounds quarters are worth just 25 cents, the rarest examples, those flawless, uncirculated coins with dramatic minting errors, have been known to sell for as much as $55,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $55,000 for a single quarter. Think about that for a moment. Something you might casually spend on a soda or a snack could actually be worth more than a brand new car. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about money, it's about the thrill of the hunt, the joy of discovery, and the stories each coin carries. So the next time you come across a 2017 effigy mounds quarter, don't just toss it aside. Take the time to look closely at its details. Check for errors, pay attention to its condition, and if it looks special, consider getting it graded. You never know, you could be holding one of the most valuable modern quarters in existence. Top 3 today. I've got something truly exciting for you, a coin that might be hiding in plain sight, sitting in an old jar, or even passing through your hands without you noticing. We're diving deep into the story of the Florida State Quarter from 2004. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary coin worth 25 cents, but for those who know what to look for, this coin can be worth a staggering amount of money. Stay with me until the very end, because the number I'll reveal might just leave you speechless. The Florida State Quarter was part of one of the most beloved coin series in American history, the State Quarters program, which started in 1999 and ran until 2008. Over that decade, every state had the chance to showcase its story on the back of a quarter. People across the country were collecting them, kids and adults alike, trading and hunting for the different states. Florida's design, released in 2004, is one of the most striking. It captures a blend of history and progress that few other designs manage to achieve. Take a closer look at the reverse side of the coin. You'll see a Spanish galleon, sails full, reminding us of the early explorers who came to Florida centuries ago. Just to its right, there's a space shuttle blasting into the sky, symbolizing Florida's role in space exploration through Cape Canaveral and the Kennedy Space Center. Below, the outline of the state is engraved, along with the date 1845, the year Florida officially became part of the Union. This design isn't just a pretty image, it tells a story of how far Florida has come, from the days of discovery and colonization to leading the way in America's journey into the stars. On the obverse side is the timeless image of George Washington, tying it together with the rest of the series. Now here's where it gets really interesting for collectors. While millions of these coins were struck for circulation, only a handful stand out because of their condition or because of unusual minting errors. And it's those rare pieces that can take a quarter worth 25 cents and turn it into something truly extraordinary. Some of the Florida quarters were struck with double die errors. This means parts of the design, like the lettering or even details in the ship or shuttle, appear doubled, as if the coin was printed twice slightly off alignment. These errors are rare and immediately attract collectors because they're visible even to the naked eye. Other examples show off-center strikes, where the design doesn't sit perfectly in the middle of the coin, creating an unusual and uneven appearance. These errors are not mistakes you'll find often, and when you do, they turn a regular coin into a prize. Even more incredible are the instances where Florida quarters were struck on the wrong kind of planchet. Imagine finding a state quarter that was accidentally minted on a dimes blank or on metal not intended for quarters at all. These one-of-a-kind minting errors are among the most sought-after treasures in the hobby, because each one is essentially unique, but it's not just about errors. Condition matters just as much, sometimes even more. Think about it, most of these quarters have been passed from hand to hand, tossed in jars, run through vending machines, and left in circulation for years. A coin that's been handled like that will show scratches, dings, and fading. But if you come across a Florida quarter that's in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially one that's been graded at the highest levels by a professional grading service, you could be holding onto something incredibly valuable. The difference between a worn coin and a flawless one can be the difference between pocket change and life-changing money. Collectors love the Florida quarter not just because of its rarity, but because of the story it tells. It's more than a coin, it's a piece of history. The Spanish galleon represents centuries-old exploration, while the space shuttle embodies human ambition and technological achievement. It's a coin that bridges the past and the future, and for a collector, that kind of symbolism adds an emotional value on top of the monetary one. Now imagine this, you're looking through your change, maybe after a trip to the store, and one quarter catches your eye. Something about it looks different, maybe the design looks slightly off, or maybe it just looks unusually sharp and clean compared to the others. You take a closer look, and then it hits you. You could be holding one of those rare Florida quarters that collectors dream about. Suddenly, that 25-cent coin in your hand isn't just change, it's treasure, and now, the moment you've been waiting for. While most Florida quarters will always be worth exactly what they say on the front, there are rare examples out there, coins with dramatic errors in perfect condition, that have sold to collectors for an incredible amount of money. In fact, some of the rarest and most pristine examples of the 2004 Florida State Quarter have been valued as high as $66,000. Yes, you heard me right, $66,000 for a single quarter. Think about what that means. Something that most people would overlook, spend without a second thought, or toss into a jar could be worth more than a luxury car, more than a year's salary, more than some people's entire savings. That is the magic of coin collecting. It's the thrill of discovery, the joy of finding history in your pocket, and the excitement of realizing that the smallest things can hold the greatest value. So the next time you get change back from a purchase, don't rush to spend it. Take a moment to look closely. You never know when you might come across a Florida quarter that could change your life. Top 4. We're setting our sights on one of the most fascinating coins from the U.S. Territory series, the Guam quarter from 2009. At first, it may just look like another quarter, something you'd toss into a vending machine or drop in a change jar. But here's the truth, certain versions of this coin are worth far more than face value. In fact, one rare variety can reach an amount that will absolutely surprise you, so make sure you stay with me until the very end. Let's start with the background. After the incredible success of the 50-state quarters program, which ran from 1999 through 2008, the U.S. Mint decided to extend the celebration by honoring territories as well. In 2009, 6 unique designs were released, each representing a U.S. district or territory: the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the Northern Mariana Islands. For collectors, this was an exciting continuation of a program that had already captured millions of people across the country. The Guam quarter, however, stood out in its own special way. Take a look at its design. The reverse side features a map of Guam along with a flying prow, which is a traditional Chamorro sailing vessel, and a latte stone, a symbol of ancient Chamorro culture and architecture. Together, these elements celebrate Guam's deep history and its proud cultural identity. The choice of imagery wasn't accidental. The prow represents innovation and skill in navigation, something the Chamorro people were known for centuries ago, while the latte stone is a symbol of strength and endurance, marking structures that stood the test of time. This combination reflects the resilience of Guam and its people. On the obverse, as always, is the familiar portrait of George Washington, tying it together with the rest of the quarter family. Now, here's where things get interesting. Even though millions of Guam quarters were minted in 2009, not all coins are the same. Errors and variations during the minting process create opportunities for collectors. Some Guam quarters show double die errors, where the letters or parts of the design appear doubled. These are among the most dramatic and noticeable mistakes, and collectors go crazy for them. Others have off-center strikes, where the design is not aligned properly, leaving part of the coin blank or uneven. Still more unusual are coins struck on the wrong type of planchet. Imagine a Guam quarter accidentally struck on a dime's blank. Suddenly you've got a one-of-a-kind coin, and in the world of collecting, one-of-a-kind means highly desirable. Condition is another factor that separates the common from the rare. Most Guam quarters went into circulation right away. They got scratched, nicked, worn down, and lost their original shine. But the few that were carefully stored or never used at all, the ones that remain in pristine, uncirculated condition, can be worth dramatically more. Add an error on top of that, and now you're talking about a collector's dream coin. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC play a key role here. A Guam quarter graded at a high mint state level, paired with a dramatic error, could easily bring serious money on the market, but there's another reason the Guam quarter has special appeal: it represents a territory, not a state. That makes it different from the 50-state quarters, and for many collectors, that uniqueness is part of the attraction. Territories have their own stories, and Guam's history as an island in the Pacific, with its indigenous culture, colonial past, and modern role as a U.S. territory, makes this coin more than just currency. It's a cultural marker. Now, let's add some perspective. Collectors aren't just looking for these coins because they're rare. They're chasing the story, the chance to own a piece of American history that's tied to an island thousands of miles away. And every so often, one of these coins surfaces that's so rare, so unusual, and so perfectly preserved that it sends shockwaves through the collecting community. Imagine the thrill of finding one yourself. Picture this: you're sorting through your change after a trip to the grocery store. At first, everything looks ordinary, just nickels, dimes, and quarters. But then, you spot a Guam quarter. Something about it looks different. Maybe the lettering looks doubled, maybe the strike seems a little off, or maybe it just looks unusually clean and untouched. You take a closer look, and your heart starts racing. Could it be? Could this be one of the rare Guam quarters that collectors have been chasing for years? Suddenly, that 25-cent coin in your hand is no longer just change, it's a treasure with a story. And now, it's time for the big reveal. While the vast majority of Guam quarters will never be worth more than their face value, the rarest examples, the coins with spectacular errors and flawless condition, have shocked the market with their value. Some of these rare Guam quarters have been valued as high as $69,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $69,000 for a single quarter. Think about that for a moment. That's more than many people make in a year. That's more than enough to buy a luxury car, or even to put a down payment on a house. And all of that value hiding inside a coin most people wouldn't give a second glance. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's about history, it's about discovery, and it's about knowing that the smallest, most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary secrets. So the next time you come across a Guam quarter from 2009, don't be too quick to spend it. Take a closer look, check for those errors, and think about the condition. Because if you're lucky, you might just be holding one of the rarest treasures in the coin collecting world. If you enjoyed this journey and want to hear more stories about coins that could be worth a fortune, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Coins Hunter USA, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another exciting discovery. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting.